And we're live. Welcome to the special live broadcast. And it's special for so many reasons today. Number one, this is actually the last live broadcast we're ever going to do in this office because we're moving. But more special than that is, look who's next to me. This is Chalene Johnson.
What's going on?
Not much. This is really exciting, and I'm so glad Chalene came today. I don't know if you saw the email we sent out yesterday, but I shot a video about Chalene and what she's been up to and her new Marketing Impact Academy program that she has put out there, and it is just blowing my mind with how helpful it is. And so I asked her, please come here and talk to our list, you guys, about how what she's teaching can help you guys. And I think you're going to be blown away because a little secret with all of the people that are successful on Kajabi, these Kajabi heroes, a big majority of them have gone through this training. And so it really is the key to success. And so brought her here to talk about it.
It's kind of fun. I mean, just today before we started, one of the things that was great for me here is like there were some of my students who I didn't realize they were making 7 figures. Like that was crazy to me because they don't always tell you. Some people are kind of quiet about their success.
7-figure earners using Marketing Impact Academy, what Chalene teaches, and Kajabi.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what I wanted to do today is specifically help anyone who's watching who is trying to get their message out there, who's really trying to leverage social media, right? And maybe build a business, or maybe not even just build a business, maybe it's just creating extra income. And if you're like many people that I see, you struggle because you're spending so much friggin' time in social media, and it feels like it's changing all the time, and it also can feel very overwhelming. So if you're spending all of your time in social media, it's very difficult to actually build a business. So what Kenny asked me to do today is to share with you, okay, what are the very best practices? Like, what's the very limited things I need to do to make a difference? Because there's a lot of things you can do in social media, but let's face it. If your objective is to monetize, which it should be. I mean, otherwise you're just playing a popularity game. If your objective is to monetize, there are certain things you need to know and you need to understand where you should be spending your time.
Yeah, and that's the biggest objection I really see with people that are kind of on the fence. Maybe you're in our world and you're watching the videos we put out in the trainings. You're already sold on the fact that you need to sell some kind of digital product or online course, right? And the objection is, how do I find people? How do I use social media? How do I build a following? If I build it, are they going to come? You know, things like that. And this training is perfect for that.
Well, let me ask you, because I assume that is a common concern people have, but the one I hear from people all the time is like, I don't know what exactly it is. Like, I want to do something, I just don't know what it is. And I find that for so many people, that's what stops them. Yeah. And it shouldn't.
Oh, for sure.
And I'll talk about that, but it shouldn't stop you.
Yeah, you definitely have your own, what's the word, nomenclature? How do you say that word?
I don't know.
Word. You have your word for this.
Who's got a thesaurus?
But basically the lifer, right?
Yeah,
So it's kind of like where I see people getting it wrong is they don't even know who they're talking to.
Yeah. And you're kind of guessing. I think the biggest and most costly mistake that people make is that they think they have to come up with it on their own. They're like, okay, so I've got to come up with this really great idea. I think I got it. It's like, that's actually not what you want to do, because you'll end up building something. Like, I have students who will come to me after they've already built something on Kajabi that they assumed people wanted, but it wasn't really what people wanted.
And they've sunk a lot of time and effort into it.
Totally. Yeah. But if you instead learn how to figure out from your audience what it is they want from you, it's just a direct route to success. It's so much faster, it's so much easier, and it's so much more fun. When people are like, you know what I want from you? They're telling you what they want, you know?
It makes it easy, just build what they're asking for.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot easier. And it's usually a lot further back than what you assume. We think we have to give people like this like super life-changing, advanced, crazy thing that no one else has thought of. Newsflash, everything has been thought of.
So let me ask, because my social media following personally is very, very small.
Okay.
If I'm just starting out, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me what to do?
Sure. Well, I want to specifically talk to people who are already in social,
okay,
right? And I think, you know, we could be here today for 5 hours. So instead, I want to make the best use of people's time and tell them what you should do right now that makes the most sense. And it's Instagram. And I never thought I would say that. I mean, I've always loved Instagram, clearly, but I never thought that Instagram would surpass Facebook in terms of where you should be spending your time as someone who's trying to monetize social media. And right now it's Instagram. And Instagram feels very overwhelming to us because it has suddenly turned into 5 platforms in one. Like it used to be where you would go to post a photo, right? And maybe you edited your photo or put a filter on it and put a clever caption underneath it and some hashtags, and that was it. Well, now it is Snapchat, it is YouTube, it is Periscope, it is a blog post. It's all of these. It's so many things in one that's why you probably feel very overwhelmed by Instagram. So, and you probably also have seen a pretty significant decline in the number of likes that you're getting and the number of followers. And I always tell people, like, the number one thing you have to do is stop worrying about likes, because you're not gonna get the same number of likes you were getting even just even a year ago. Because, I mean, let's face it. So let's say you had 10 followers, and all 10 of those followers before, they would just look at your one post. Well, you might get 10 likes. Now those same 10 people, they come on Instagram and they're still looking at your stuff, but one's looking at IGTV, and one's looking at your live, and one's looking at your carousel posts, and one's looking at your story highlights, and one's looking at your stories. So, and all of those other things other than your post, they're all consuming your content, but they're not giving you likes for them. So you might still be really doing well, but you won't know that if you are only using likes or new follows as your metric. So I want to share with you and just cut to the chase and tell you, like, as someone who's trying to monetize, the number one place right now where you should be spending your time. Well, there's 2, but the one where you should be spending the majority of your time is stories, right? So people aren't yet finding a ton of new followers from their stories, right? So you still want to post to your feed. You still want to use hashtags, and you still want to, here's a hack for you, I want to write this down. You want to get people to engage with you. That is a million times more important than a like. If you leave me a comment, that is gold. Or if you save my post. So it's finding a clever way to create the type of content that people are going, this is so valuable that I actually want to click the save button. And what that does is it puts your content first in the feeds. So every time you open up Instagram, you're competing with all these other people. And Instagram wants to give each one of us a very unique experience. So when I open my Instagram, the algorithms are telling Instagram, okay, this is who she's interacting with. So if you want your stuff to pop up first, you've got to get people to interact with you. And it's not the likes, it's actually the comments. So that's going to happen in your feed, right? Get people to save your posts, get people to comment under your posts, and have a dialogue back and forth. The next most important way for you to get that engagement that's going to boost your visibility is to get people to DM you. And one really clever way of doing this, it depends on when you're watching this. If you're watching this today, I did this just, I think in my last post you can see a version of this. So I posted a picture of myself in a pair of yoga tights. And I kind of talked about how they were so tight, they were like squeezing all of my skin and all of my fat rolls like up high, like underneath my bra. And it was like this very strange, they look great, but it felt very weird. And I gave a review of the tights. And I said, here's how they fit me. Here's who I think they would work for. DM me if you want the rest of the details. And I got like bajillions of DMs from people I've never heard from. I would say at a minimum 500 new DMs.
Wow.
Now you might think, well, who's got time to reply to 500, in detail to 500 people? You do. All you have to use is a very simple feature called a text replacement. That's a feature you have on your iPhone. It's not even an app. It's a feature you already have. It's in text replacement. And there's a similar feature on Android. And so what I did is I typed out a long reply that said, oh, girl, they're from Carbon 38, and they come in lots of different colors. I wish I'd ordered a size larger. This long reply. And I was able to send that to all 500 people. Anytime I saw that DM, I would just type in yoga. It would populate the response for me. Now, when you get a very long, detailed, helpful response from someone, you're like, this chick is awesome. Like, she took the time to give me all this information. I really appreciate that. It creates that reciprocity and a conversation. So that leads me to the next thing I need to tell you is that Your feed is where people are finding you, but your sale is going to happen on stories. It does not happen in your feed. You won't, just don't even waste time saying, click the link in my bio. Ain't nobody gonna do that. Ain't nobody does that, right? It's one extra step and we just don't do it. And then it also feels very salesy because it's kind of like not expected in your feed. So the way that you can really use Instagram to create sales and monetize what it is you're doing is to have that relationship, right? And as you know from watching enough about business, sales come when we know someone, we like them, we trust them, and now we're gonna do business with them. And that happens in stories, you guys, because when you're watching someone's feed most often, I don't know about you, how you feel about this, Kenny, but I kind of hate looking at people's feeds because I'm like, the only time I feel bad about my life is when I look at people's Instagram.
It's scripted.
Yeah.
They plan it out.
And perfected. I'm like, I don't have a vacation hat like that, and I'm not in Fiji. Like, seriously, in some of these posts, like, okay, I'm sorry, can I tell you about that? So last night I got this message from somebody on Instagram, and he's like, I don't know if you know who I am. You should check out my Instagram page. Blah, blah, blah. I was like super like cheesy, and here's my resume. Blah. He like barfed out his resume, and I'm like, who is this tool? So I clicked on his Instagram, right? And his feed is like him in front of his Bentley and him in front of his jet. I'm like, what are there, paparazzi there? Dude, I know you set up a tripod and you had someone take a picture of you in front of that private jet. That is so cheesy. Like, I don't relate to that at all. Like, that is so not real. There was no paparazzi there. You took that photo of yourself. It's dumb. Anyways, but what I happened to do is I listened to his podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a likable guy. I actually related to him in his podcast, and I thought, but I don't relate to his feed. So then I looked on his stories, and I'm like, I relate to this guy. But I don't relate to his feed. And I think I don't know what's going to happen with that. I hope that changes. But I think right now, most of us are trying to put together this like perfect life on our feed, but things are real
instead of
in
just
our story.
Being who you are.
Yeah, and as we know, like, perfect repels people and real sucks us in. Real makes us go, oh, okay, I relate. And I'm going to do business with people that I relate to. I'm not doing business with the guy who's standing in front of the Bentley in his private jet, like, eh. But I'm going to relate to the guy who's talking about, the struggles he has with balancing work and business. Like, that I relate to. So that's going to happen in stories for you. So I want to give you a really simple way to know what you should be posting in stories. Okay, so please take notes so that you can implement these things and start putting them into practice immediately. By the way, I am Chalene Johnson on Instagram, so if you want to check out my stories, you'll see this formula in work. So this will be an easy way for you to remember it. Redick. Like, this is so cool. It's like Redick. REDIC. Redick. R stands for, you want to post at least once a day something that people can relate to, right? Like yesterday when I left CVS by accident, I have to, like, if you're not in California, I think this is only a California thing, but you have to pay for a bag of plastic bag. And I thought to myself, I've only got a few things. I don't need I can carry these.
Happens to me all the time.
And I didn't buy the bag, and then I forgot, and I left with like the little red basket. And I got in my car, I'm like, oh, I just stole a CVS basket. And I thought, should I return it? It's kind of nice. I could use this little basket. I'll return it, I swear. But so I posted that on my Instagram stories because I'm like, we've all done that. Or something similar. It's relatable. So you want to post something that's real because people can relate to it, right? Like,
but you would never think to put that picture in your feed, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never. No, it just, first of all, it wouldn't get any play. It doesn't look like, it's not real. I mean, real works on stories.
Scrolling through CVS basket.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, for example, again, to go back to that same dude, like, if I went on his stories and I saw his toddler throwing a tantrum, I would love that. Like, I love seeing parents struggle because it makes you feel like, oh, good, we weren't the only ones.
Yep.
That's real. Like, and you might think, well, how does that even relate to my business? It doesn't. It relates to you as a human.
Yeah.
So post something that's real every day. Then you want to do at least one post a day it's educational or motivational or inspirational, okay? And you want a variety of these things. So that's the E. So it can be inspirational, it can be educational, it can be motivational. If you look on my stories today, I talked about how people oftentimes feel stuck and they overthink things when you should just, you need to do it. Don't overthink it, freaking do it. So that was a motivational post. The next, this is a really important one, the D, R-E-D stands for dialogue. You need to post things on your story that create a conversation.
In the comments or the DMs.
Where you ideally you want to post something where people are swiping up to share their opinion.
Okay.
Like, so I could have done something that was relatable and created a dialogue. I could have said, swipe up if you've ever accidentally shoplifted a car or stolen a cart or whatever, right? And then people would swipe up and they share that conversation with me. Now I have a dialogue. Now I don't have someone just lurking and looking. Now it's a relationship. Yeah. And guess what else that does? It makes your story show up first. Anytime you comment on someone's story, when that person posts, their story goes to the front. So what you're doing is you're pushing your own content in front of the people who want to interact with you. The I stands for interact. So, and this is something that's important for you to understand. So at Team Johnson, we have an amazing team of social media gurus who they dig into this stuff and they report back to me, and we manage a lot of different Instagram accounts. So it's really fun to have them be able to share the research and the data and the insight. And so, because if you watch YouTube or whatever, there's like a million people out there like giving their theories, which I think they've watched someone else's YouTube video and they're just copying it, saying the same thing. We actually do the research to figure out, like, is this a legit thing? And we can tell you that one of the very key metrics that Instagram looks at in their algorithm is, are you using their new features? So, for example, if you're posting a hashtag onto your story, Instagram wants you to use the hashtag sticker. That's why they made it. And so they're going to reward your content by using their features. And a lot of what they're creating on stories is to get your viewers to interact. Do a poll, right? Like, so just before I came in today, I polled my Instagram family and I said, you guys, I'm wearing a red blouse and I have kind of a wine-colored lipstick on. Is that okay? And I can't wait to see, we should look and see what they say. Let's do that. But that will give me an interaction. What I'm doing is asking for people, they're tapping and clicking, and we're like little kids, we love to click buttons. So if you notice, like, Instagram has so many different buttons now. They want you to use polls, they want you to use surveys, they want you to use, the swipe for the emoji into the hearts. They want you to use their stickers. They want you to do all of those things because each little tap, swipe up is part of the magic that tells Instagram, hey, this person is interacting. They're not just viewing. And here's why Instagram wants to do this. Because the more you're interacting, the more time you're spending on Instagram. So think about what Instagram's objective is. Their objective is to get people to stay on longer. So anything you can do to kind of work with them to do that is going to boost your own visibility when people log in. And again, we now know that over 70%, this is brand new, this is research available from this month. In the very end of 2018, we know that over 70% of Instagram users, the very first thing they're looking at is stories. Which I think says that we really want real. We really want real. So what is the C? That was the last of my redick, right? So reviewing. R is something relatable. E is something educational, motivational, inspirational. D is to create a dialogue. Where are we? I was to interact. C is to capture. So if you're not giving people a place to go on social media, then you're just playing high school popularity games, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, I don't understand. I guess I do understand, because it feels like you're working. It feels like you're being productive if you're spending a lot of time.
Oh yeah, you could spend your whole day, doing these things, but if you're not capturing, what are you doing? Right, yeah. And we've all done that, where you're just like, you look up and you're like, what have I done for the last 2 hours? Nothing that moves your business forward. But so how do you capture?
Yeah, so you've got to have a place to send them. You've got to have a place to send them. And again, this is a formula I follow every day. So that was REDIC, that's 5. So at a minimum, I'm going to post 5 different times a day. And I know people are like, 5 times? It's not like your feed. Me posting 1 time on my feed takes me like an hour and a half. But on my story, it's 10 seconds. It's 15 seconds. I can do it really quick. But if I don't have at least once a day, I need to send people someplace. So like right now, they can swipe up and they're going to go to my Kajabi site, right? And I think that's the other thing is I want for this audience to understand is you shouldn't waste another minute in social media unless you have that and a few other really important pieces in place. Otherwise, you're just going to get busier and busier and busier, and you're going to be like a dog chasing its tail because there's no end to the amount of things you can do in social media, and none of it freaking monetizes for you. Yeah. None of it. I got a phone call last week. She's now one of your students.
Really?
Yeah, she's a Kajabi customer. I won't say her name, but I got a call from someone who had grown her Instagram following to almost 1 million. And she says, I'm a slave. I'm a slave to social media and it's not making me any money. I said, you need Kajabi. So go there. You need these things first. I said, take a week off take a month off of social media. If it's not making any money, take a month off.
Yeah.
And friggin' put these 8 pieces in place. So there's 8 things that I think people need to have in place before they spend like another hour in social.
That's funny. I see both sides of the equation. I see people like that already have the following that don't know how to monetize, and then I see people just sitting on the sidelines not doing anything because they think that they need this following, and
that's right.
They're going to magically make money.
That's right. You do need both. Yeah. I mean, it certainly helps to have both because how else are people going to find you, right? Unless you're putting up billboards. I mean, TV isn't where it's at. Even infomercials, like it's all changed. So you do need you need some social media. You need to know how to use it. But if you don't have those 8 things in place, it's pretty pointless. It'll just suck the life out of you, I can go over those 8 things, but I don't know if we have questions or.
Yeah, let's hit some of the questions. We've got some questions on the TV back here, and we'll just kind of pick some of these off. Mona says, I've been on Instagram for a while. Should I delete and start over since you can't reorganize the feed, or just start from where I am now and move forward with the strategy? I would have my own answer, but I think...
Yeah, I wouldn't delete, especially if you've already got followers. I mean, you can certainly delete older posts, and I would say it's important to clean up because any new follower, people don't go back and look at your old stuff if they're an existing follower, but new followers, what we do, so funny that she said this. New followers, what we do is we click on the person's page and we just do a quick glance and we look at the first 3 lines because that's all you can see without a scroll. And we go, does it look like of value to me? And you might click on a few posts. So those first 3 lines of Instagram need to represent your brand message. You need to clearly identify to people, this is why you're here, this is who I am, and this is how I help. I got a message today from someone on Instagram, and I actually commented back to her, and every single post on her page was in the exact same pose, but like doing some, she's either holding a bottle or, but it was like, that's a cute photo, but like I'm not sure why I would follow this account, So, but she was super fit. I'm like, why? I want to know what you're doing for your arms. I would want to know. I'd want a carousel post to see what exercises you're doing. So
periodically just purge.
Yeah, well, especially once you've really identified your brand message and once you've like really thought through and walked through the process of how you can help people, I think it's important for you to go, okay, so when someone clicks on my page, is that clear? Is it very clear how I help people and why this Instagram is of value to them? Not of interest to your mom or your friends, but like to a complete stranger. So delete the posts that aren't. Delete the ones that don't fit that criteria and keep the ones that do because you've already got a following, I assume.
Cool, let's do another one. Stacy says, what is the most effective way to turn followers into active customers? Well, that would be the capture.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the capture. And it starts with those, the redick that I covered. And it really happens most quickly in stories. And so that's why it's really important that you start figuring out your story strategy. But if you don't have a place to send them, they don't become customers. And that is, one of those 8 steps is like knowing what is it you can give people of value so that you can take the relationship off of whatever social media platform you're on and maintain that relationship via email, via opt-in, via freemiums, via your academies. So it's those steps.
Cool. a lot of people are asking. They want to know the 8 things.
Okay. Yep. I've got notes,
Yeah.
so I don't forget them. Let me run through, and I want you to write these down because I know for myself personally, my first 2 years of trying to figure out an online business, I didn't have an email list. I didn't have any way of getting in touch with my customers. I had a social media following, but it wasn't making me any money, and I paid for courses, I went to trainings, I listened to podcasts, I bought the books, I hired experts, and I would learn a lot, but I was like, every time I learned something more, I realized, oh, there was this other piece I was supposed to do first. It's almost like I was building the second floor and I hadn't built the foundation, or like going to buy furniture before you've taken measurements and nothing fits. So, the first 2 years, Brett and I invested over $250,000 and just trying to figure this out. Like me doing all these seminars and workshops, and I kept going, well, this is really going to be worth it and they were all great, but it took a lot longer because I said, is there any place where someone's going to say, do it in this order? Because that's what I need. I need to know the order. And once I learned that order, I said, I'm going to teach this to my students. And so I'll share it with you. So write these down because you won't waste time if you do these things first. And I will say this. A lot of people skip these steps because it's much more fun to make an Instagram post and get some likes. Like that's rewarding. But if you want long-term success, like if you want a life where you don't feel like overwhelmed by what you're not doing or you are doing on social media, you do these 8 things. And it's the reason why so many of my students who are Kajabi members are 6 and 7 figure earners, because they do these 8 steps, because I make them do these 8 steps. Tough love. So the first thing you have to do is you have to know who your lifer is. A lot of people teach avatar or target audience, and I really prefer for you to think of it as a lifer. So your lifer is that person, like, you already get them, you already understand them, you already know their language, they're probably a lot like you, but just a little further behind, like what you were like before you figured out whatever it is you figured out, right? But they relate to you, they like you, they get your sense of humor, they get your style, they like the way you teach, they really relate to you. And identifying your lifer is really, really important, because if you don't, what happens is you end up being a copycat of that other person or this other thing that you want. And copycats it's never going to be authentic, and you're never going to attract the kind of person who you really relate to. That's step 1. Step 2, and you have to do that before you do step 2, because step 2 is you have to drill down your brand message. And I think very few people know how to do this, and it's essential. You have to know, like, what is it? Because people always say, well, we can do this, and I can do this, and I do this for people, and I help people do this. Give it to me in a line, and sometimes we're just too close to it to realize, like, this one thing is the big thing. What is it you do that helps people? Like, what is your brand? And understanding your brand message also means, what's your brand personality? Like, so that when you are posting in social media, it fits with your brand personality. To go back to that same example I gave earlier, where I listened to the guy's podcast, I'm like, I really like him. I relate to him. And then I looked at his Instagram, I'm like, who is this guy? I don't relate to him. So he's really unclear in his brand message. Like, if he just figured out, like, which of those 2 images is truly his brand, he'd crush it. You have to know your brand. And then the third thing is you have to know because everything's been done before. Everything. Every workout's been invented. Everything you can think of has been done for the most part. But there's still an amazing opportunity for you, because no one's done it the way you have. There's a ton of people out there who will teach you how to be successful in business, but no one does it the way I do it. No one teaches the way I teach it. No one has my unique experiences. I don't have to be the most knowledgeable. You don't have to know more than anyone else, but you have to recognize what it is about your past, usually, your own unique challenges, the things you've been through. What is it about that makes your style, your approach unique and likable and relatable? And that's also sometimes difficult for us to see in ourselves, but you've got to do that. You've got to take the time and go, okay, what? Because then you put that forward, right? So if you don't do that, you tend to, like, dim your own light. So when I first started trying to build an online business, I would try to be like the people who I was learning from, like, which one of them was Brian Tracy. And he's, I love Brian Tracy, but he's like in a blue suit and he's very buttoned up and he's, no nonsense. And I'm all about nonsense. Like, I take his principles, but like, I gotta be me, and that's gonna help people who want it, like, straight talk and tough love. That's gonna help them relate to me. And this is really important. So many people miss this. You have to understand what's the first thing people need from you. You have to give people an on-ramp. Okay, so once I figure out how I want to help people, once you figure out what it is that's unique about you, that people are looking to you to learn, you have to go back and go, okay, what was the very first thing? And then whatever that is, you have to make that even smaller and a more bite-sized piece. Because the mistake most of us make is we think it has to be so grandiose, it has to be so big, that we put something out to the world that people aren't ready for. People who are following you, they're not ready for that yet. So for me, the very first thing that I created using Kajabi was what I called a 30-day challenge, where I just sent people one email a day to help them kind of get things organized. I didn't say, oh, here's how to start a business, or like, okay, guys, here's how to, launch an infomercial. It was just like, okay, here's how to get your house a little bit more organized. So you got to keep going back. And then your next step, and this is really important. Okay, when I say your next step, I'm saying these 8 things, frankly, in my very opinionated opinion, you shouldn't be doing anything more on social media until you have these 8 things in place. Take a week off. Permission to take a week off of social media, because that's about how long it would take to do these things. But you've got to set up an email management program so that when people are going on your story and going, oh yeah, I would like that PDF report, or I'd like to see that video you're doing with Chalene later today, they're actually giving you their email address, and that's something that your Kajabi site does for you. So it operates as a email management system, and with a, by the way, incredible delivery rate. Because there's lots of, so I'm talking about MailChimp, Infusionsoft, what are some other ones? iContact. But all of those, frankly, and I don't mean to say anything disparaging, but we have used a lot of different ones, and when we use send from our Kajabi site, you guys have a clean IP, so it's not used by spammers.
Yep.
So like if I send an email from some of those other providers, I have a much higher likelihood that my emails are just going to be automatically marked as spam. And if your messages aren't getting to your customer, what's the point, right? So you have to have a place where you're collecting people's email addresses before you do any more social media. I'm kind of hammering that point home, but it's important. And then the next thing is, this is number 6, is you have to have something that you're giving people. Because I'm not just saying, oh, here's my email address, do with it what you want. We're picky about our email addresses, right? So you have to figure out, like, what can I give people that would be of value to them? Can I do an audio? Can I do a live training, a podcast, a Skype call, a PDF, a grocery list, a list of exercises, my favorite exercise equipment, like whatever it is, your expertise is, there's something that people would be like, oh, yeah, I'll give you my email address to have that. That'll save me some time. And then number 7 is you've got to make sure you've got a way to deliver that, right? So people are like, okay, swipe up, and now they land on a page. Do you have that page? Is it optimized? Or does it send people away? Is it intimidating? Does it look like, oh, this is going to be a pain in the butt? Or does it convert? Are people actually clicking and putting in their email address? Because that needs to convert. And again, that's also something that just comes with your Kajabi membership. Like, you actually have pages that convert. It's all built in. It's like a one-stop shop. So I love that. I know I'm preaching to the choir because we've got a lot of Kajabi members watching right now. But for me, that's why I've been working with Kajabi for so long. And it's why I tell so many of my students, I'm like, listen, you can look at all the other, there's a lot of companies out there that say they do something similar, but if you dig deeper, which is what we do, like inside my academies, I say, okay, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to help you. I'm going to lay out your options, and then you're going to make a decision, and then you're going to live with the consequences. This is my top pick. You can pick any of these others, but here are the consequences you're going to deal with if you pick a cheaper more maybe even a more well-known one, but here are the consequences you're going to deal with, and here are the advantages, but you can make your own decision. But one of those things is that it's all, for me, for my students, is like, it's all in one. They don't have to like build on these separate little pieces. You guys at Kajabi, they do that for you. And then the last and final thing, so eight things, right? The eighth thing that you need to do is you need to know how to persuade people to take action. Because if you can't get people motivated to take action, nothing changes. And if nothing changes, the relationship with your customer ends. But if you can get people to take action, like if you just do some of those things I talked about in your Instagram stories, send me a DM and tell me how it worked for you. Because if you take action, then we're going to have a relationship. But if you do some of these things and none of them work, send me a DM and say, none of that worked. You were wrong. And I will block you. No, just kidding. But that's really important. You have to learn how to persuade people to take action without being salesy. Because we've all been around salesy people, and I will intentionally not give someone my sale even if I want the thing, if they're being salesy, right?
Well, we could have been salesy with this information, these 8 things. I mean, you could not watch anything else and really have a good playbook on what to do next. But let's talk about Marketing Impact Academy, what they're going to get. Obviously, it's more detailed than just a list of 8 things.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is these 8 things, you could figure them out yourself. I mean, I did, but it took forever, right? And it cost me almost $250,000 and a lot more time. So I have students that these 8 things are able to implement within a week. And what I wouldn't give to have saved myself just the distraction, the self-doubt, the guilt that I had in wondering if I was doing this right and was I ever going to get the right order, like that. I would have done anything to have that shortcut, and that's why I'm frankly so passionate about helping people, and it's why I'm pushy about it. Like I'm like obnoxiously pushy about it, and I always say to people, I don't care if you want to figure this out yourself, but it's these 8 in this order. Or you can let me help you do it. And that's why I created the Marketing Impact Academy, is because I know the quickest way to do this, and I've helped thousands of people do it. And these 8 steps are the same, whether you're a physical therapist or a stay-at-home mom with a brilliant idea, or you are someone who wants to teach other people how to play guitar or cut hair, or whatever it is. The 8 steps are foundational. They don't change. Beyond that, the Marketing Impact has been designed to kind of be a library, like this really concise online resource where it serves you for the lifetime of your business and you have lifetime access. But I wanted to create it the way I was looking for this experience, where people you don't have to finish it. So we can go over, I have so many students who are millionaires now. And recently we went back through and interviewed them to find out how many of them had completed the course. 0. And that's how I designed it. I designed it so you could just do a few lessons and then go implement. You don't have to devote 6 months or 12 weeks. You can literally spend 20 minutes on a lesson, go implement it, and start making money. And then go, well, now I'm kind of curious if I should see if there's a better way to, really optimize my sales page. And then they go back in and watch that lesson. Or they might say, well, now I'm curious if I should be running Facebook ads. And they go back in and watch that lesson. But you don't have to go through it all at once. I created the Marketing Impact Academy to walk you through the right steps in the right order, but in a way that's super convenient and works with your busy lifestyle. So you decide how much you want. If you want to binge watch, an hour's worth of lessons this weekend, you can. Or if you want to just watch 20 minutes here and there this week, you can do that too. It's really been designed for the whole process to work for you. But the thing that really makes this program different than anything else that's out there is my steadfast stubbornness to make sure you don't waste time, that you actually do the right steps in the right order.
Well, Chalene definitely knows what she's talking about. And if you follow us at all here at Kajabi, we're always talking about the hero. We're always talking about the hero's journey and trying to kind of escalate in terms of how you define success. And the thing we've noticed when I interview people that have made over $100,000 and above, It's people who have taken Marketing Impact Academy.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, there really is that common denominator, and so many of them have done Marketing Impact Academy, and they are alumni. So let's talk about how these people can get in.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So the Marketing Impact is something that we haven't opened up in a year, and the reason why is I'm obviously can tell I'm very passionate about this, and I want to make certain that we've got the right group going together. I hear from so many people like, I don't have creative people around me. I don't have people that think this way around me, but you got to get around them. And so when we start this whole group together once a year like this, is just this powerful force because everyone's kind of in the same spot, and it's crazy how all these ideas come to you and they help each other out. And so when we open up registration, which we just did yesterday for the first time in a long time, it's an opportunity for you to make a decision. And the decision is, these 8 things, look, that's non-negotiable. You got to do these 8 things, and then some. The decision is, are you going to try to figure it out yourself? Or are you going to let somebody walk you through it and be your mentor, be your guide? And that's a decision that people have when they are trying to decide if they want to do the Marketing Impact Academy. We opened up registration, and it's to start. It's one payment of $357. You make 6 in total. So if you want to make just one payment, it's $1997. But if you really just want to get started today and see if this is right for you, it's $357. And there's no risk because I give you a 45-day money-back guarantee. And I do that because I think back on what I felt like the first time I invested in an online training. I'd never done one before. And I was freaking out, and I didn't know how I was going to tell my husband that I wanted to spend $5,000 on a course. And I just remember thinking, well, if it doesn't work, there's a money-back guarantee. And for me, that was like, okay, now I don't have to worry if this doesn't work. And so I want to give that same thing to you. This is the first time we've ever given 45 days. So you have 45 days to go, yeah, this isn't for me, or it is, and there's no risk. You just show us you've done your homework, you've actually opened up the courses, and if it's not right for you, fine, we'll give you a money back guarantee. But even better than that, because I know it's scary for people, like your heart races, and you're like, you start with the self-doubt, like, I don't know if this is right for me. I don't know if I'm ready. Like, that's the one thing people say all the time. Like, I don't know if I don't know if this is right for my business, even though they know it is. But they'll say those kind of things almost to have that pause. So I want to make it too irresistible for you to wait another year. We do a live event every year, and it's legendary. So you've probably seen people use the hashtag and seen some of our live events. They are unbelievable because of the people that show up, because of the people that are on my stage, people like Brendan Bouchard and Jeff Walker and Lewis Howes and Nicole Walters and the experts like Brock Johnson and Sean Cannell, people who know their niches, and I don't let them come up on my stage unless they're going to not just tell people what to do, but how. How do I do that? Because that's big. For me, when I went to a lot of these seminars, I was like, okay, now I know what I need to do, but I don't know how to do that. And this is a course where you actually learn how to do it. My live events, we teach you how to do it. Those tickets to a live event are $2,000. You don't have to be an MIA student to come to our live events, but it is a $2,000 ticket. But today, for your payment of $357, I'll actually give you 2 tickets to the Marketing Impact Academy live event. So that's a $4,000 value. And you'll also get the last 5 years of our live event. We're going to give you the footage. So we tape every single minute of those events. So you're going to hear from all those experts that I've just mentioned, which there's too many to mention. And you'll actually take in all of their lessons. And that's a $10,000 value. It's literally 5 years worth of course content. Like, it's enough to serve you for the lifetime of your business. But I don't say that to overwhelm you. I say that so that you know it's going to be there. It's going to be there for you. But if you just spend 20 minutes and implement one of the lessons, you'll start making money. But I want to make it even better, so I'm going to give you 2 other courses that we have never given to people before. And these, I'm going to give them to you as a bonus. One is called Help with Hashtags. And that course will walk you through on Instagram everything you need to know to find new followers on Instagram, and also how to set up your own Shopify, which I'm really excited to find out that now Kajabi you're soon going to be integrated with Shopify. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can sell your physical products using Shopify and all of their fulfillment and all of their taxes and all that other stuff, but on your Kajabi site.
That's crazy, because like we sell our water bottles on Shopify, so now we'll be able to put this all together. That's exciting. It's easy. It's like when everything's all in one place, it's so much easier. And a lot of people don't realize, if you don't have an idea, if you're like, I know I want to do something other than what I'm doing, but I don't know what my expertise is. I don't know what I would teach on Kajabi. But I do know I do like these little notebooks, and that might be interesting to import them using Alibaba and set up a Shopify store or water bottles or jewelry or whatever it is. That's how a lot of my students get started, because it's funny. Once you realize, like, you can take something that you like, put it on the internet, and wake up the next morning and have sales overnight, it's a game changer. I mean, I'd hear from students all the time, they're like, I got a $7 sale and it is on. Like, now they get it. It's crazy. It just happens that way. So you'll get the Shopify course. We're also going to give you a course on how to use affiliate marketing. So if you're a YouTuber, if you're, maybe a fashion blogger or whatever, there's things that you love and you recommend. I'm going to teach you how to use affiliate marketing. So you don't have to come up with your own stuff. You can recommend other people's things. In total, we're giving $17,000 worth of bonuses this year. And again, to get started, it's your first payment of $357, $6 in total, or you can make it all in one payment. You can do that with PayPal, or we actually have, what is it called? PayPal credit? What's it called?
PayPal credit.
PayPal credit? Is that the term? I forget. But it's this cool thing that PayPal's doing now. So if you want to use that, you can, or a credit card. And, then you don't have to waste $250,000 trying to figure this out yourself, or another year, or another 5 years, or spending a bunch of money on things you don't need to. Like, you notice when I gave you that list of 8 things, really low down on the list was your website. There's so many other pieces you need to have in place first. So this is going to save you thousands of dollars. And I can't even count how many years it'll save you. It's literally a decade worth of information just kind of crunched down so that people start making money within the first week. I mean, we can share some of the stories of students who literally did that. They don't go through the whole course. They just do a few pieces, start to implement, start to make money.
Yeah. So when we asked Chalene to come by today, we were kind of racking our brains. Okay, well, what can we offer? I mean, those are a lot of bonuses. I mean, you're giving away a lot of stuff, but we're like, okay, what can we throw in to really make this a no-brainer? And it's step 5 through 8 that she talked about. You need one tool to do that, and that's Kajabi. You need that platform, and then you don't need to worry about any technology. Well, we're throwing that in as well. So we're going to give you a year of Kajabi for free. This is worth $1,236, and that is yours for a year if you sign up through our link right here. Let me give the link real quick before we talk about it anymore. It's just trykajabi.com/getMIA. So if you go to that link, and I'm sure there's a button on this page as well, you can click that and you can sign up for Marketing Impact Academy. You get all the bonuses that Chalene laid out, and you get the year of Kajabi.
That's amazing. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, and you won't be offended.
No.
Because I meet people all the time that they don't know about my course. They've built this like huge thing on Kajabi, this amazing course, and they don't know how to sell it.
Yep.
Right? So if somebody's watching right now who is a Kajabi member, who's already done that, they've built out this thing, and now they realize what they need is MIA, Marketing Impact Academy, to figure out how to move it.
Yep.
What do they do?
No, so if you're already a Kajabi customer, this applies to you as well, and we will credit you a year of your subscription as a bonus.
That's amazing.
We want you to be successful. We really do. And some of you watching are already customers. Some of you have been sitting on the sidelines waiting to jump in, or some of you might have been previous Kajabi customers, and you left and gave us the reason, I'm just not quite ready yet. We see that all the time. I'm just not ready to sell a course. Well, maybe you're not, but that doesn't mean you're not ready to do anything.
Yeah, I love that. And so if you are a current Kajabi member and you've already built something, I want you to know that we're going to walk through those same foundational pieces together, because oftentimes I find that people have created something that their customers aren't ready for, right? Like they don't realize that who they're talking to is a student driver, and they've built them a race car They're not ready for that. They need something to get them on the road first. And truly, that's part of what we teach in Marketing Impact Academy is creating a customer journey. Like a place where people can step in, something you can offer them through Kajabi. You build something that's like a beginner level. Because if what you're building for your customers is the most advanced, it has all the bells and whistles and it's everything, they don't need anything else from you. And the hardest thing to do is to get a new customer. What you want to do is get one customer and serve them for their lifetime. Like, so there's all these courses, you kind of grow them up, if you will, and you give them a place to go.
Totally. Well, thousands of real people have already taken the plunge and taken Marketing Impact Academy. And like I mentioned, lots of them are our customers too. I think we have a video reel of some people that have gone through it. And I think everybody from this video is a Kajabi customer as well. Is that
who are we going to see first? Or can I ask you who? Oh, Diane? Yep. Awesome. Okay, so can I set this up real quick? So this is a stay-at-home mom who loves being with her kids, loves being with her husband, also loves to doodle.
Like
literally like a circle and a line for a smile, and just wouldn't consider herself like a fancy artist, didn't go to art school, anything, like just likes to doodle. And she realized that she could doodle like kind of complicated messages and simplify them in pictures. And she wanted to teach other people how to do this. She just didn't know how to turn this very niche, random hobby that a lot of people have, how could she turn that into a business? So here's her story.
Since joining Marketing Impact Academy, I've paid off $125,000 worth of debt. I have 5,000 students online. I've been named one of the top 100 women to watch on Twitter, top 50 online courses for creativity. I was recently featured in Kajabi's You Inc. about a premier example of someone who is turning their passion into business, and I'm writing my 8th book right now. My name is Diane Bleck. I'm the founder of the Doodle Institute. Today, I want to talk to the creatives out there, the people who have a passion and they want to know how to make it into a business, because that was me just a few years ago. I was creating YouTube videos and Periscope videos around my passion, but I didn't have a formal plan for how to grow it into a business. And thanks to Marketing Impact Academy, I learned how to create baby offers so that I could start to build a list of my ideal customers. I then learned how to build courses, as well as a social media strategy and a team to support my growth. It gave me a foundation for sharing my knowledge with students. My professional work has exploded, as well as my ability to be an online instructor, which has been a dream of mine. If I can do this, if I can make a business out of doodling, you can make a business out of your dreams too.
I've had a physical therapy business for 12 years. And you know what? Marketing the way that I marketed my physical therapy business, I just didn't do it the way that you do it today. I just was doing things wrong. The way that I was doing it before is I would have to go out and market to physicians or market to community events to acquire a patient. I mean, I can only go to so many community events. I can only visit so many physicians. I had just released a few online courses and they didn't go as good as what I thought they should have gone. I knew that my course was what people needed, but I didn't have the right steps in order to get people to become a customer of mine. I didn't even know who my customer really was. I was trying to cater to too many people. From when I started Marketing Impact Academy, I made back my investment in 5 weeks. In 8 months, Marketing Impact Academy have done what it took me 6 years to do in my physical therapy business. 7 months in a row, we've hit records. And I just did what she said. That's it. It has met my expectations and more. She teaches you the proper steps. This course taught me how to basically develop the right steps from start to finish. I don't take courses from people. This is the first online course I've ever taken. I was skeptical. I was nervous, but I said, you know what? If anybody's gonna teach me, I know she won't leave anything out. So I said, let me go for it. So yes, I had to take a risk, but she delivered. There are a few things that create successful business. You can't change this. People can teach you theory and teach you cool marketing strategies, but they might not teach you systems, so you really can't duplicate it. You know, you can also be taught systems, but it might not be current stuff. You get everything in this. You get current stuff and you get the proper systems. You can't lose. You just have to have faith. You really do. You just have to have faith that this person is going to give you the right steps, and she does. You're not going to learn this stuff in business school. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how you're going to learn. You're going to learn it any other way. If you do it in the pattern that she shows you, you can do the same exact thing that it took me 5 years to do. Do you want a mediocre business or do you want a great business? Do you want a great business or do you want to have the premier business? Well, if you want a mediocre business, then get mediocre training. If you want a good to great business, then get good to great training. But if you want a premier business, then get premier training. Marketing Impact Academy is premier training.
Aren't those great stories? I mean, Greg in particular, just this week, no joke, in our Facebook group, I don't even know if you know this, he just posted that he hit $1 million.
I know, I just heard that was insane. I love that.
Yeah, and so good for Greg, but it kind of shows, not kind of, it does show the power of Marketing Impact Academy and Kajabi together.
Yeah. You know what I love about, well, both those stories, this is my personal reason why, is because I'm a mom and I've got 2 kids and I'm happily married, and I just want people to realize that there are a lot of business experts out there who are telling you need to hustle. You need to hustle, hustle, hustle and grind, hustle, grind. I just think it's old school. And maybe it's right for some people, but for me, I actually don't want to live with regrets. And I love seeing stories, especially like Greg's, where he was able to 6 times his income, and he doesn't have to be in the office treating people, but he can still help people. He can make more money, help more people, and actually spend more time with his family. Same with Diane, you know, like just like such a cool thing to doodle. Like I freaking love that. Like, and I've got students who have made $1 million teaching people how to knit. Like crazy. Like, so no matter how obscure or how much you think, well, the thing that I would want to share with people, it's on YouTube. So if you have these 8 things in place, that's what makes the difference. You know, those other people are going to spend a lot of time in social media, and you can directly help people and not have to hustle and grind if you set things up the right way. So,
well, I think we're really out of excuses, right? I mean, Chalene's going to teach you what you should do, and she's going to give you the blueprint to do so. Mm-hmm. And then we are throwing in the tools and the platform and the tech support you need to make that happen.
Yeah.
And so click the button on this page to get this offer. I'm looking at the comments here. Lots of people are asking Chalene to recap those 8 steps because they missed them. So if you don't mind, can you just go through
absolutely. Okay, so the 8 pieces you need to have in place. And by the way, as I said, you can figure this out yourself, or you can let me walk you through it. Like, you can let me be your guide, let me be your coach, let me take you step by step and save you a ton of time. So I'm going to go through the 8 steps, but I want you to know, if you do these 8 steps with me, we're going to get through it quick. You're going to download a PDF. You're going to fill out the questionnaire as we go through the lesson, and that PDF becomes what you're doing the next day. It's like your to-do list. So gone is the excuse, like, I don't know exactly how to do this. Like, literally, I don't know of any other course that does this. I don't say, okay, I need to go get your this. I say, okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. This is where you enter your name. You click this button and select this. Like, I'm literally going to walk you through, because I needed that. And I've got so many students who, they struggle with technology. I've got 70-year-old students and students who are 15-year-olds. Like, this isn't just what to do. I'm going to show you how to do. I'll walk you through it, screen flow, step by step. So first thing, ready? Write this down. Number 1, gotta know your lifer. You need to know everything about your lifer, what TV shows they're watching, what cars they drive, what they struggle with, what it is about you that they're attracted to, what is it that they need, what words offend them, what things repel them, what things attract them, right? Number 2 thing you need to know is your brand message, your brand personality, and it's gotta be consistent across all of your platforms. I mean, right down to what you're wearing and how you speak to your audience and the message you put out there. I'm going to help you drill that down, because I think you're probably too close to it. But you go through these questionnaires when you print them out, you're just listening on your earbuds. It's fast lessons. And you're like, oh, holy cow, well, there it is. There's my brand message. Number 3 is I'm gonna help you discover what it is that makes you so uniquely relatable. It's why people are going to be attracted to your style. Because as I've said, whether you're in network marketing, or you're in real estate or a physical therapist or whatever it is, it's been done and there's a million other people doing it. So we've got to make that thing that's unique about you shine. And then we need to figure out what it is you're going to offer people, and you want help with this, trust me. I do this all the time. I follow my own advice. I use the same systems, the same strategies that we teach in Marketing Impact. I use in my own business. I just did this recently. I had my audience tell me what the name of my next book should be and what my book should be about. Instead of me saying, I wonder what a creative title would be. I wonder what I should write a book about. I let my audience, and I teach you how to beta test. How to beta test things before you launch this big expensive thing that you spend 2 years developing. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And beta test, guess what they do? They help you develop testimonials. I'm going to teach you how to make testimonials. Like the videos that you just watched, those of our students, I'm going to teach you how to do that and how to get the right music and to tell the story. And then the next piece you have, so that was number 1 was lifer, 2 is brand message, 3 is uniqueness, 4 is what you're going to offer people first. Number 5 is you need an email management software program, which is Kajabi. There's your answer, right? It's so simple, and it's such a great IP to use because you're not going to end up in spam like everybody else, all the other lists, in my opinion, do. Number 6, you need a freemium, which is something you're giving people for free in exchange for their email address, and you need a place to deliver that. That's Kajabi. And on top of that, you need a mobile responsive website. That's Kajabi. And it's all plug and play. It's so simple to set up. I love that I hear from students all the time. They're like, my kids want to shoot me because I don't even know how to use my iPhone, but you guys made it so simple to set up with Kajabi. I can't believe I've got a site up, I've got an opt-in page, I can email with one click thousands of my students, I can see who's opted in, I can see my sales, everything all in one place. That's so crazy. And then the number 8 thing is you've got to know how to persuade people to take action without being salesy. And my years of infomercials and being on QVC, there's a formula for that, an exact formula. And you follow it every single time. It's just like baking a cake. You leave out an ingredient and your cake flops. But once you have that printout in front of you, and I'm going to give you the verbiage so you know what to say and how to say it so it's not salesy, so you don't have to sell because nobody wants to sell. So the only question I have for you is, what are you waiting for? Why not you? Why not you? These people aren't smarter than you. They're not better than you. They don't have more opportunities than you. They were also nervous. They were also scared. They also had lots of self-doubt, and they didn't think about it. They just pulled the trigger and they hit the button. Because the only way you can fail is if you don't try. You'll stay stuck. And stuck is a pretty horrible place to be because you're stuck. You know you shouldn't be there. You know you're uncomfortable. And you know you have to step outside of your comfort zone. Because ain't nothing good ever happened in your life. Nothing when you were comfortable. All the amazing things have happened when you were nervous, when you were scared, when you thought to yourself, should I do this? And then you pulled the trigger and you did it. When you asked that girl out, when you decided to go on a diet, whatever it is, that's when amazing things happen. And I, not to make this about religion, but I just believe that God rewards us when we take risks like that, when we have faith in ourselves, So you can wait a year, go by and see if you can figure these things out yourself, and you can kill your social life and listen to your spouse say, will you get off your phone? Which your spouse isn't going to say if you're actually making money doing what you love. Or you can make a decision today and let me guide you through that process. Because like I said, there's no risk. We've made the payments super affordable for you. You can $357. I asked my Instagram following the other day, I said, how many of you think you spend $5 a day on things you really don't need? If you think about, your lattes, your shoes, your hair, your makeup, your, things you do for sports or entertainment or going out, do you spend $5 a day? And I think most of you would agree you do. That's the equivalent. That's really what your investment is. If you look at it, it's about $5.50 a day. For an academy you have lifetime access to. Lifetime access. I mean, there's not a topic that you're going to need that, to my knowledge, that isn't covered inside the Marketing Impact Academy. But like I said, you don't have to go through it all at once. Just do a few lessons, implement, start making money, right? So click the button. When you do that, what you will need to do is, figure out what payment you want to use, whether that's PayPal or a credit card, but use your best email address, because I'm going to send you access to our online membership. That's where you'll get all of your bonuses. That's how I'll communicate with you anytime I'm going live. All of the most important thing you've got to do is make sure you are giving us your best email address, enter your credit card information. You'll see a list of all those bonuses that we discussed, plus the incredible, crazy bonus that Kajabi is giving. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Because it's one of the first things I tell my students is like, okay, there's all these other programs. Here's how you can compare them side by side. But I really think this is the one you need to choose. Kajabi, it's insane that you're giving people that.
Yeah, and it doesn't paralyze them with choice. They should just be
That's
diving into the curriculum
Yeah.
and not have to pick a platform.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to emphasize, though, this does sell out, right? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is the longest we've been without having opened up registration to students. So we had our longest wait list that we've ever had, and we've had the most enrollment, the most people sign up in, I don't know, a really long time. And we just close it once we're at capacity, and so I don't know when that will be. You probably know better than me, but I know we're getting close.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, there's really no reason not to jump in today. There's a 45-day guarantee and all of the bonuses, plus the Kajabi bonus, which is kind of crazy.
Can I tell you
for us
why
to
people
do.
shouldn't wait?
Please.
Because when you wait, you don't do it.
Yep.
When you know you need to do something, you friggin' do it. It's the Mel Robbins, 5-second rule. It's true. If you let time pass, you get a text message. Something happens, and now it's an excuse, and it's distracting you from what you know you need to do. So if you wait, you won't do it. You do it now, and if it's not right for you, there's a money back guarantee. But if you wait, it just won't happen. It just doesn't happen. So take action.
Well, if you learned anything today, I can only say that's just scratching the tip of what is to come inside Marketing Impact Academy. I mean, you're going to learn so much. And the testimonials you already saw and you're going to see after we're done here are just proof that this stuff works, but you have to take action. You really do.
Yeah, you have to take action. I mean, that's the only difference between you and some of these people you're watching and the life that you dream about. It's not your schooling. It's not even debt. I have so many students that have paid off hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. The only difference is you either take action or you don't. You overthink it, you talk yourself out of it, or you feel the fear, you have a pit in the bottom of your stomach, you're nervous as hell, and you take action anyways. That's the difference, because everybody feels the nervousness, everybody feels the self-doubt, everybody feels the fear. The difference is some people overthink it and do nothing and they stay stuck, and then there are those people who take action and make it happen. So be an action taker. We love action takers.
Thank you so much for coming today.
My
This is
pleasure,
awesome.
Kenny. Love you guys here. Love Kajabi. Mwah!
What my biggest fear in life was, I was going to spend the majority of my life with my head down on my computer, and then one day look up and not know where my life had gone. And I don't have that fear anymore. So before Marketing Impact Academy, I was the struggling social media person. I would put my head down and I would work every day hoping that someone would find me. My Facebook page was stuck at a few thousand followers for several years. I was running ads to gain a following on my Facebook page. They weren't targeted and they weren't active on my page. Marketing Impact really helped me figure out how to grow my Facebook presence, and social media is constantly changing. So the skill set that I learned while I was at Marketing Impact really did help me launch a new way of gaining followers in social media. Marketing Impact Academy taught me how to brand myself. And once I started speaking authentically from who I was and what I was experiencing, I was able to create a community of like-minded people. Since last year, I have developed 4 digital online courses that are now the primary income earner for our family. Everything that I've learned from Marketing Impact Academy has really helped me create a full full-fledged business where we're making multiple six-figure incomes in just a 12-month period. Revenue for us as a family last year was $250,000 to $300,000. Our life has completely changed. I no longer have my head down in a phone or sitting at a desk at a computer. I do the work that's necessary to build my business. I do the work that's necessary to support my customer base and the women and people who follow me. And the rest of our life is joyful and stress-free because we've built in the time and the financial freedom and flexibility that we'd always hoped for. Marketing Impact gave me exactly what I needed. I needed steps and I needed systems in place. And I wouldn't have had that confidence or that skill set had I not been at Marketing Impact. The thought of investing in a program like Marketing Impact when you're not successful in your business yet can be a little difficult to wrap your head around. But sitting here today, after utilizing all of the skills that I have learned through Marketing Impact, it was worth every penny and has paid us back tenfold. If you're that person that's looking at someone else and wondering why that can't be you, then you should invest in Marketing Impact Academy. Because I used to be that person, and now I'm that person that people are looking at going, wow, I wish that was me.